Stars Volta. We're in Phoenix, Arizona, filming episode number 5. We're here because our next guest is playing in spring training for the Texas Rangers. He is a 5'11", 175-pound utility player. He plays second base, third base, shortstop. He'll cut your grass. He'll walk your dog. He'll do your dishes. And most importantly, he's got to get you hits and he's got to get you wins. He took his team to the Junior College World Series. He took Arkansas Razorbacks to the College World Series. And last year, he took AA Frisco. He took the Roughriders to the championship for the Texas League in the minor leagues. Our next guest, the pride of Missouri City, Jax Biggers.
How we doing? Thanks for having me on.
Hey, how's it going? How you doing today? You just had a game. You guys were up in Mesa, and how you feeling today?
Today's been good. A lot of travel, long day. Probably one of the further spring training travel days, going from Surprise to Mesa, about 45 to an hour. So the day's been good, but a lot of travel. And now I'm excited to do this.
Is that a bus? You guys take a coach
we
bus?
Some of the like the veterans can, or anybody that's been in the show can drive and just leave whenever they're done playing. And then
Who does that?
So majority of the guys who start the game, they'll play they'll get 2 or 3 at bats, play 5 innings, 6 innings. They have family in town or relatives, girlfriend, wife, whatever. That they'll take them home, or some guys carpool and they drive together, just so they can get out of there faster.
Nice. And probably carpooling in a minivan.
No, they're probably carpooling in Mercedes and whatever they got.
Nice. So yeah, you're living the dream. You're a professional baseball player. And your mom was up here last weekend. That had to be great. Tell me, what does it feel like to be living out one of your dreams?
Yeah, having the mom here, I got 2 great parents. But seeing my mom was awesome. Love having her around. Love seeing her. Living the dream though, for sure. Can't really explain it more than I get to live it. Just really excited, really happy. Met a lot of great friends. Been on a lot of great teams.
Yeah.
Connections, been able to meet you through baseball. It's just taken me places, and I've met people that I wouldn't have a connection in this world without baseball.
Yeah, and I'm sure when you look back at it, it's going to be probably even better. I'm sure that going through the grind and trying to, climb your way up is probably something that's on the front of your mind right now, right?
Of course, you got to love the grind. Yeah, you just got to love the grind. I enjoy it. Like I said, I've got a lot of good guys, teammates that I go through it with, and they make it a blast.
Nice. So we'll talk about your journey to get to where you're at in a little bit. But I think the first thing that I wanted to talk about is kind of the things that are going on with the new rules in baseball and kind of what you've been seeing. You've had a front seat and been playing in the games, but you kind of have a different perspective or a leg up, just because the minor leagues have been using these rules in the minor leagues, testing them out, and now they're going to the pros. One of them has been the pitch clock. You had that last year, right? In the minor leagues. All
these new rules, I got to use them or be the guinea pig for it last year with Frisco, and it took me about 10 days to get used to it. I'm a fan though.
Yeah.
I enjoy the rules. It speeds the game a little bit, and I know a lot of old heads won't like that, and the old school.
Yeah.
And some pitchers won't like that. Some hitters won't like that. But once you get used to it, you can change your routine, and you got to adjust.
Was there anything? What was college like? Were there any rules like that were kind of in play when you were at Arkansas?
Arkansas it was just the basic. But there was no rules as far as the pitch clock and how many step offs you get and how many times you can call time. We didn't have any of that. So sometimes there'd be games that were 4 hours, and it can beat you up being on your feet that long.
Yeah.
And it can mentally drain you too. And so with the new pitch clock, I guess the fans, I don't know who I don't know why the reason we're doing it, but I know it's to cut down the time.
Yeah.
And that's been really effective, and it has cut down the time by a lot.
I want to say like the analytics said it will shave off like 25 minutes per game just based upon the pitch clock. But you said it took you 10 days to adapt. That's it?
Yeah, about 10 games.
Or 10 games, yeah.
I got my first at bat with a pitch clock. I had missed the first 8 weeks last year. I had a little hip injury. I get back to Frisco, and my first at bat, I see 3 pitches, I strike out, and it might have taken 40 seconds. And so that was like my first awakening. Okay, this is really going fast. I just struck out in under a minute. And you just got to adjust, and I was able to adjust. The pitchers adjusted. I think majority of my teammates all had no problem with it towards the end of the year. We were all used to it. And for the minor leaguers last year who were in spring training, on Twitter, you've kind of seen like it's been blown up on Twitter, like, just some of the fans and some of the players who have been in the show the past year aren't used to it. I think once they get used to it, they're going to enjoy it a lot more.
Have you seen struggles from people? Like, does it look like people are? And what happens when if someone steps out of the box?
So if you're a hitter, you can call time one time. If you're a pitcher, you get to step off twice.
Twice with nobody on, right?
Both.
Both. Okay.
Yeah, so you only get 2 pickoffs, but if you step off, that counts as a pickoff.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to be careful. And on the third one, if you do pick off a third time, if he's safe, then it's a balk.
He gets the next bag. That's wild.
Yeah,
and
it's definitely a new era.
And it's 20. Is it 20 seconds with nobody on and 15 seconds the pitch clock with someone on, or is that not?
It's vice versa, or not vice versa. Whatever the word is for opposite. But with somebody on base, it's 20 seconds.
Yeah.
With nobody on base, it's 15. And as a hitter, you have to be in the box and ready by 8 seconds. As a pitcher, you just got to be able to throw it before it hits 0.
Dang. What do you think that's going to do to walk-up songs?
Yeah, that was actually not a concern, but it was kind of like the joke in the clubhouse was, well, when do I need to start my walk-up song? Because I want to hear this part, but I want to let it build up. And so that part was kind of
that's true.
That was funny. That was a funny time, a funny joke to the new rules.
So what is your walk-up song?
I've had a different one every year. Last year, I went with a Future song, March Madness. This year, I think I'm going to go with a song called Grease by Drake. My mom likes it.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, so she'll have a smile on her face when she hears it, and if I don't hit good with it, I will change it. But hopefully I hit good, and we can let Grease play all year.
So the bags are bigger too, right? They're a little bit bigger, and so this is going to increase steals. Is that something that excites you?
Yeah, anything that can help me out as a hitter or base runner, for sure, I'll be excited. I'm not sure how much it's going to help, but I know we're going to get, I think, what is it, 2 extra inches?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's 4 inches with both bags combined. So I got no excuses this year.
Yeah. So let's dive into how you got to where we are now in Phoenix for spring training here with Texas, but it started all back in Texas. So Missouri City is a little bit south of Houston. It's in the greater Houston area. So you played at Ridge Point. Was that the high school?
Yeah, Ridge Point High School, right?
Yeah, and as a senior, you hit 425. Like, what?
I didn't even know that.
425. You were all conference. You were, I think, second team all state. After high school, you went to junior college. It was Cisco Junior College, right?
Right. Yep. Cisco Junior College down in West Texas.
Yeah, it's in between Abilene and Fort Worth.
Yeah. Probably smack dead in the middle. Pretty close to it, if not.
What led you there?
So my dad, he played JUCO and coached JUCO, and so growing up, JUCO was never like it can kind of get slandered as like a bad term or like, oh, you're going JUCO. So that was never, it was never a negative term growing up for me.
Yeah.
It was always praised, and very glad it was, because probably one of the best things that happened to me was going JUCO.
Yeah.
Led me to where I'm at today. Learned a lot about myself. But yeah, I got there. I had one D1 offer out of high school, and I had a couple JUCO offers. went on a visit, and to Nicholls State was a D1 school
Okay.
down in Louisiana, and they gave me the offer, and I was so excited. And I was like, all right, I guess I'm gonna go to Nicholls State. That's where we're gonna go.
Yeah.
And I already knew about JUCO, so nothing that was gonna surprise me. Then I went on my 3 JUCO visits, all in the same day, because they were all within, I think, an hour or two of each other. So I knocked those out with my mom. We rode back home, and it wasn't a done deal, but it was in my head and my mom's head. It was kind of like, okay, I guess we're gonna go to Nicholls State and somewhat close to home. And then talked to my dad, and we just talked and had a deep talk, and let's look at reality for a little bit. And some of the things that we went over and said just led me to the route that, yeah, this is a no-brainer. Why would I not be going to JUCO?
Yeah.
And I did that, and yeah, so Dad, thank you for letting me go, for having the good influence on JUCO programs.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, a couple episodes ago, I was in Albuquerque, New Mexico, speaking with Coach Ray Birmingham, who was also at New Mexico Junior College, and he's in the Hall of Fame for coaching there and coached a bunch of guys who went to the pros. So junior college, when it comes to baseball, and even these days when it comes to football, is a good spot to be at to kind of reinvent yourself or kind of put yourself on a higher launching pad to either go to the pros or to go to your next school. But you balled out at Cisco. You hit 385, 7 home runs, 50 RBIs. You had 31 multi-hit games, and 9 of those games were at least 3 hits or more, which is wild. So you're incoming freshman of the year. You took your team to the semifinals of the College World Series in JUCO. Is that correct?
Correct.
So what led you? How did you get to Arkansas, and how did you choose Arkansas?
Yeah, so my freshman year at JUCO, it's kind of frowned upon to recruit freshmen in the fall. And so I didn't have anybody talk to me in the fall, which is totally normal. I was prepared to be there for 2 years.
Yeah.
Got to the spring, was doing really well in the spring, and things just started clicking on and off the field. I was doing good in the weight room. I was doing really well in the baseball field, and just was starting to get noticed by schools that I had interest in going in. And Arkansas had a bad year in 2015, which led them to not making no regional. I don't even know if they went to the SEC tournament. They might have. Don't quote me on it. But anyways, they struggled that year. Didn't have a great year. And so Coach Vitella was the assistant coach at the time, recruiting coordinator at Arkansas. He came to the JUCO World Series because they were already done playing. Yeah. Just happened to, the 2 smallest things in the world. A really good team didn't make playoffs, and my JUCO team had to go to the College World Series. And they found me.
And you decided not to go to Nicholls, and you went to Cisco. It all lined up, man.
Yeah, so once again, thanks, Dad, for the JUCO influence.
Look at that. So you end up going to Arkansas. Did you have to sit out a year, or you started? So that 2017 was your first year, or 2016?
2016 was the first fall. The spring season was 2017.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And then, so you had no trouble at all, which sounds weird because you go from, which kind of shows you the caliber of play there is in JUCO. You went from JUCO to the SEC, and you killed it. You killed it. You hit 338. You led your team in batting average. You led the SEC shortstops in batting average. You were 7th in SEC in batting average. There's a bunch of things that you're up there on. I think it was like you were in top 10 with ABs, hits, something else. I don't know. You were. How did you adapt so quickly to SEC?
I think what helped me out the most, the mindset from JUCO going to Arkansas was a big help. Just JUCO, you're not by yourself, but it's a lot of independent on your own, and kind of like, hey, you're here because you haven't figured it out. So let's figure it out. And for whatever reason, something clicked that freshman year for me, and then I got to Arkansas, and the fall kind of got my butt whooped by the pitchers on our staff, and we had a good pitching staff both my years there, and that's probably what helped me out the most was. Every day in the fall, I was competing against some of the best guys in the country and in the conference. And so when I got to the spring, it wasn't easy by any means, but I had already faced some of the best pitchers that were in the conference, and so I was prepared a lot more because of that fall.
Yeah, and then you guys go to the SEC tournament, and you broke a couple of records. I haven't looked to see if they're still there yet, but against Auburn, you hit 2 triples, and it's the most triples ever hit in one game in the SEC tournament. And then you had 3 triples in the whole tournament. I think that's the most triples ever hit in the SEC tournament. Once again, I don't know if that's been broken since, but
yeah, I don't know either. It might have, but I need to find those triples for this year, so maybe I can bring them back out from the tournament.
Yeah, so pretty good season. How did that season end up? Did you guys go?
We lost to Missouri State in the regional championship at home.
Gotcha. But still, from what you did what the team did prior year, you guys built upon that. So obviously, there's 9 guys on the team that are starting at one time. Then you got the rest of the starters and bullpen. I'm sure it wasn't just all you. Who else was kind of adding into that mix?
Oh
there?
yeah, no, it was definitely not all me. I was probably the 9th guy. So we had a really good pitching rotation. That my sophomore year or my junior year?
The first year you got there, yeah.
We had Blaine Knight was our Friday night guy. He was a stud, and then Trevor Steffen was our Saturday guy, and then Sunday was Casey Murphy, and we just had 3 really good pitchers who really enjoyed the entire team, but they enjoyed winning. Mm-hmm. And they pitched to win. They weren't pitching for certain stats. They were pitching to get outs, to get wins, and you could just tell. And that transferred over to the next season as well with the pitchers we had that year too. Yeah. So a lot of good pitchers. The team, my sophomore year, I think we had a lot of guys on that team get drafted. So we had a really good team, and a lot of guys on that sophomore team came back for my junior season as well.
And that was a key point to have that team come back and kind of vibe off each other and know what you guys had the potential to do.
Right.
And you guys had a awesome year that year. Your junior year, you guys went to the College World Series, went to the final, and played against Oregon State, where you won game 1, right?
Won game 1.
Won game 1, and then game 2 and 3 kind of fell to Oregon State, but they had Rutschman on their team.
Yeah, he's
right?
a beast.
And
he's a beast.
Yeah, he was the MVP and ended up being drafted. I think he was 1 overall, right? Or was he?
That was his sophomore year.
Yeah.
The next year he went 1st overall.
Yeah.
But they had, I think, 3 or 4, maybe even 5 first rounders on that team.
Nuts.
So that team was definitely loaded.
Yeah.
And it was cool to compete against them and be neck and neck with them.
Yeah. So tell me about the fan base in Arkansas. I saw when you guys would hit home runs, you put on that hog hat, and it seemed pretty rowdy. Tell me about the fan base for baseball in Arkansas.
They're the best. They're the best baseball fans in the country. The players know that. I think majority of other schools know that. The fans know that. Yeah, the fans are awesome. We were able to kind of feed off them, and we didn't need the extra help of energy. But they brought up plenty of energy, and we loved every minute of it.
Talk about like things lining up for you. Your choice to go to junior college, your choice to go to Arkansas, have a breakout year, your first year there, and then your junior year, go to the College World Series, and then you got drafted that year, right? So 8th round, I think it was like 239 was your draft pick number by the Rangers. What's that like? Were you? It's not the NFL draft, but I mean, were you at home around your phone? What was going on?
I was in a hotel in Fayetteville. We were still playing. We had just won the regional, and we were getting ready for the super regional. We had South Carolina coming in to play us. So my dad was like, "Hey, he's gonna be a little stressed out." And so my mom, I didn't have a great year my junior year as well as my sophomore year. So my mom came down to Fayetteville. She had a hotel room, and that's where I was. We had practice that morning, and I got done with practice in the 4th round, and showered up, whatever. Met my mom at the hotel room. And it was, I think, the end of the 4th or the 5th round, but it was getting close to my round that I went in.
Mm.
And so I had my mom there, and she just, she was there. She was there for me, which is huge.
That's
I had
awesome.
been somebody like my mom or my dad that I could have in the room. Not like the biggest moment of my life, but in a really cool moment.
Yeah.
That was potentially life changing.
Yeah.
And so so I had my mom there for me, and that was cool.
Nice. So you left after your junior year, right? You went straight. Do you go to single A? Where do you go, or high A? What happens from that point for people like me who don't understand that process?
In 2020, they got rid of short season. And so when I got drafted, a lot of college guys go to short season. The high school guys who get drafted will go to the AZL, which is in Arizona, or the GCL, which is in Florida. Or I think now it's the AZL. Anyways, but if you're a college guy, you typically go to the short season. And for me, that was in Spokane, Washington.
Yeah.
Which is now the high A, I think, of
the Rockies.
The Rockies,
I looked it up.
Okay.
It was the Spokane Indians.
So you go there, and then 2019 it was again. 2020 was COVID, and that's when they cut 42 minor league teams. And but what they were doing was they were cutting short season. I guess it makes sense if whatever the business side of the whole baseball is. But yeah, so they cut short season. So now college guys will get drafted, and they're more than likely going to go to low A. The high school guys will still go to the AZL or the GCL because I think it's only 2 months, and you just played your season.
Yeah.
So you're a little tired, and then you get to week off, and you're back playing baseball, and you get to basically you get 2 months to adjust to pro ball and understand how it works, somewhat wise understand how it works, and just get used to the schedule, the road trips, and how you get your feet wet for next year, basically.
Yeah. So then you go to Hickory,
North
Carolina for the Hickory Crawdads, right?
Yeah.
What
Crawdads.
a name, man! Minor league baseball names are just amazing.
Elite, yeah, they're elite. They're elite names.
Oh, they're great. They're great. So you're there, and then, so when does that 2020 break happen? Right after that,
or the COVID?
Because you guys there's completely no minor league.
Yeah, I was here for spring training for 2 weeks. I was at a restaurant with three of my buddies who are still in the org now, or 2 of them are in the org. One's with the Orioles now. We're at a place called Booties in Surprise, Arizona, watching the Pelicans were playing somebody, but it was Zion Williamson. He was playing, so we were all kind of interested in it. And before they tip off, the game gets canceled. We're like, oh dang, like this COVID mess is really coming around.
Yeah.
Whatever, it's canceled today. They'll figure it out. They'll be back in a couple of days.
Yeah.
Well, we have a meeting the next day, and they say, hey, go home for 2 weeks. And we're just like, been training all off season.
Yeah.
Like we're here, like, and it's COVID. People are probably a little sensitive to it, but as majority, like most of the athletes, I'm not gonna say we didn't care, but we just wanted to play.
Yeah.
So we go home for 2 weeks, and they say in 2 weeks we'll give you an update. So we go home, and everybody's still training, and basically it's like an extended off season. So 2 weeks go by, and they say, hey, 2 more weeks. It's like, all right, whatever. We're still gonna play. Cool.
Yeah.
We're gonna be a little late, cut the season in half, but we're still gonna play.
Yeah.
Those next 2 weeks go by. Hey, we're gonna reassess in 4 weeks. We're just like, damn, like, what's going on here? Like, I'm tired of working out. I'm ready to play.
Yeah.
And so those 4 weeks go by, and then basically we were just told, be on call and just be ready. Like, stay ready, and be ready for if it ever does happen. And so it was kind of tough because I treated not every day, but for the most part I treated every week like
it's coming back.
Gotta be ready to go in a week.
Yeah.
All right, next week's okay. Gotta be ready to go in a week. So it was. I mean, I got a lot of live ABs.
Yeah.
With a lot of the guys out of Houston that were still trying to be ready for. Cause we didn't know what was gonna happen. Obviously, they didn't know what was gonna happen either. It was just kind of a shit show, basically.
So what did you do? I mean, you didn't come back. You didn't play that year.
Yeah.
What were you doing?
Coaching. Coach for a team called 5 Tool.
Okay.
Out of the Houston area, Missouri City area, Houston area, Pearland, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Also help my dad's team out. He coaches for Marucci, so I'd help him out with practice. I stayed around the game probably way too much for after I would work out, hit, throw, do what I had to do. Relax for 2 or 3 hours, then go help coach. Just keep me busy, make a little money. Just keep me, basically on my feet.
Mm-hmm.
Just to, my main job was to be ready for whenever they called me.
Yeah.
And if not, I was still busy.
Yeah.
And I got to see my dad and mom a ton, so
Yeah, that's good. And
it ended up being pretty cool.
Yeah, it probably gave you another perspective of baseball as well. Your coaching.
Yeah, it was a full circle.
Yeah, that's cool. But obviously, you would love to be out there playing.
Right.
So then come back to 2021. You made it to AAA, right? Is that the year you went to the Express
Right.
in Round Rock?
Yeah, there were some injuries, and they had a problem with some kind of roster move that they weren't allowed to make, or I don't know the whole logistics for it. But yeah, they said, hey, you're gonna go up there for a week, just be ready to play any spot that they put you at, and then after that week, you're probably gonna come back down to Frisco and finish the season out there.
Okay, and then that had to be a great experience, at least to have the taste of that. And then do people value that? Because you can go up to the pros at any level, right? So they have Jack Leiter was playing with you in AA. He was drafted #1 overall. I don't know where he's going to go this year, but do you guys value AA to AAA? Do you guys oh yeah, okay, I'm AAA, I'm closer?
A little, you're definitely closer, but I had a teammate last year that went from AA to the show. Mm-hmm. But a majority of the Rangers will go AAA to the big league, so you are closer.
Yeah.
People would rather be in AAA than AA because it's a level higher than what you were at. So I guess we all do value it. We don't put it on a pedestal, but we just it's the next step.
Yeah.
We all value it as part of the progress or part of the path that you want to get to, and as the step before your goal.
Gotcha. Well, this past season, you guys had a tremendous season, and I went to a couple games there, and the stadium is
it's cool.
Awesome.
It's a really cool stadium.
Yeah. If anybody wants to go see a good minor league stadium, go to Frisco to see the Roughriders. 1, their logo is amazing. 2, they have a lazy river in right field. Yeah. And 3, if you go on the 4th of July, they let you on the field and you get to watch the fireworks. It's just a great show.
If you're 21, go on Thursday. They got Truly Thursday, so they do some good promotions, and you get to go in the lazy river, and there's a DJ, and the minor league games are pretty cool sometimes.
Yeah, you guys had a good show out. So it is, I don't know, let's say 30 minutes north of Dallas. And Frisco is also the home of the Dallas Cowboys' new, it's not new anymore. It's their practice facility. Jerry Jones pretty much owns that entire place. The
Star.
The Star is what the practice facility is called. And then Dallas FC or FC Dallas, either one, they play there too in Frisco. So it's a really cool place to go, and great place to go see a baseball game too. So you guys had a great season. Tell me about that season. What were some of the highlights for you leading up to the championship?
I think just the people on that team, and in 2021, but those past 2 years have been some of the most fun I've had playing baseball with a group of guys. Mm-hmm. Probably a lot of my favorite moments from 2022 are just off the field moments. With the teammates, with some of my, like Kellen Strom, Blaine Krim, Matt Watley, Dustin Harris. I know I'm forgetting 3 or 4 or 5 guys, and if they see this, probably a little mad, but
yeah, they'll let you have it.
Yeah, Jonathan Ornelas, just that whole team was a bunch of good guys who we enjoyed each other hanging out off the field, and so we enjoyed each other when we're on the field, but it was like, on our off day, hey, what are we doing? It was never, Justin Foscue, can't forget my roommate. It was never on the off day, we kind of just chill by ourselves. It was like, hey, what are we doing? And so that was probably the most fun part, was being closer off the field than we were on the field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. And then winning the championship, that had to feel good, right?
Yeah, it was cool. Really, really cool experience.
Yeah. So everywhere you've gone, you've won. So there, I mean, you've been able to hit and you've been able to win. So how did you feel going into this spring training? Like what obviously your goal is to make it to the pros, to make it to the Rangers, or if you do get traded wherever you go, to be able to make your debut. What have you been working on leading into this off season or into the spring training now?
Right. I don't know. I mean, I've been working on, of course, my swing and all.
Mm-hmm.
I went down to Florida with a group of guys called Gratum Swing,
Mm-hmm.
and spent a whole week there. And in that 1 week, I learned a lot about my swing and just the better technique that they teach.
Mm-hmm.
So I've tried to bring that into spring training, and I feel like I've had a pretty productive spring training so far, hitting wise.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been using their drills, their thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
just their knowledge that they spread to me. And I've been using that knowledge when I'm in the cages as part of my routine. Is some things I learned with
Mm-hmm.
them, and they that's probably the biggest thing I've brought from the past year to this year. Is just in the past it's been not see ball hit ball, but just hit it,
Mm-hmm.
get it where I like it and hit it. And now I'm having an understanding of the actual body movements and how the swing is supposed to work.
Mm-hmm.
And I've not learned it, but I'm learning it still.
Yeah. How to generate power, things like that.
Yeah, just being using the ground as force and getting your hips and your arms in the best spot that your body can get them in,
Mm-hmm.
instead of just having good enough hands to put a barrel on the ball. And now it's
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm gonna use my lower half, I'm gonna use my hip, I'm gonna use my top hand,
Mm-hmm.
and try to really hit this thing how it's supposed to be hit.
Yeah. So tell me about some of the guys that are on your team or have been promoted to the Rangers or have been playing for the Rangers that you look up to
In the past or right now?
right now.
Man, I would say I have like truly 2, 3, 4 good friends that I think will be that have already been in the big leagues, and I think they'll be there this year too.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's cool. I get to watch them on TV or watch the highlights. But when I first got to the Rangers, I didn't know anybody in the big leagues. We weren't a good team,
Mm-hmm.
and so you're never rooting against anybody. But it was just kind of like well, my team won. Did the Rangers win? Probably not. Maybe they did, but you didn't really care.
Yeah.
And now I got guys who I truly care for, truly want the best for them. And so you do want to be on that team. You do want to get called up, but you kind of find yourself rooting for the Rangers to win because you enjoy, you know what the winning feels like.
Yeah.
And you want to see your boys succeed. And so I got a couple of those guys, Josh Smith, Bubba Thompson. I think a couple more guys can get there too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you just root for guys that you enjoy being around, being with, on and off the field. And that's kind of like the spot I'm in is I want to see those two guys for sure really succeed.
Yeah.
As much as I want to be there with them,
Yeah.
I want to see them succeed a lot too.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be hard. It's kind of like, I don't know if you watch F1 or watch the Drive to Survive, where your teammate is kind of, he's your teammate. You're racing for the same team, but in a way, he's your competition too, right? So when you're looking at the Rangers organization and you're looking at the positions that you play, and whether it be second, short, third, and you're looking at them, it's kind of hard to root for them because if they do better, that means you stay down, right?
Yeah, it's weird. But I have I have good parents who I think I was raised pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
And iron sharpens iron. That metaphor that you hear. That's kind of what it is. If I do my job to the best of my ability, I personally think it's good enough to be in the big leagues.
Yeah.
So I just need to control what I can control. If one of my boys goes 0 for 4, I'm not cheering. And if I go 4 for 4, I'm not saying I'm better than you. It's just if I do what I can do, I think I can get there. And I want them to be the best that they can be. That they can be too.
Yeah. How surreal is it to be in the same dugout? Well, I don't know if you've been in the same dugout with like DeGrom.
Yeah, I haven't been in the same dugout as him yet. He's been banged up, so the games that I have been at, the big league games, he hasn't been there.
Dang.
but it's weird. It's not weird. He's not weird or anything, but it's just like you see him in the weight room and you're like, damn, that dude's worth a lot of money. And we're wearing the same clothes.
Yeah.
And so it's cool. It's cool, but it's also like little like, oh shoot, like it's a lot of money in that body right there.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
It's cool. That's a golden arm right there.
So yeah, no kidding.
Golly, that's awesome. So yeah, I wish you the best throughout the rest of the spring training. Tomorrow, be at your game, get some good footage there. But you told me that you don't know where you're going, right? When do they tell you where you're going to be placed?
Right. Some guys do find out a little earlier. Like I think pitchers find out usually the most early. Not sure why, or maybe like it just gets leaked out. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they'll tell me. Let's say first game is just off the top of my head, April 4th. I'll probably find out March 30th. They'll book our flight to wherever they're sending us. Mm-hmm. They'll have our rooms for us, and that's that. It happens quick. You get a 2 days notice sometimes, and it just happens quick.
Yeah. So I mean, if let's say you make it to the Rangers, or if you go back down to AA, I mean that's kind of the same facility, or kind of the same area,
right?
From Arlington to Frisco. AAA is down in Round Rock, which is by Austin. Mm-hmm. So what do you do? Like, what is your situation when it comes to living right now? Like, how does that happen with a minor leaguer?
Luckily, this past 2022 was the first year that the MLBPA they got the agreement with the major leagues that our housing is now covered by the Rangers or by the organizations.
Wow.
So that's huge because that's a lot of stress you don't got to worry about. Because if you were in 2019, I had a buddy who was in low A with me, and his name was on the apartment. So we had a 6-month lease, I think. And his name's on the apartment. Well, he gets called up halfway through the year, so he's paying a lease that he's not in.
Yeah.
And now he's trying to find somebody who's either somebody got sent down from high A to low A, or somebody got sent up from the ACL to low A. It's like, hey, you're gonna stay here and you're gonna pay me this much. This is the open spot. And so that it ended up working out well, but it's just a lot of stress.
Yeah.
You're dealing with a lot of stuff that you don't want to deal with as a person who, you're not thinking about, oh, when's rent due?
Yeah.
You're not thinking about the utilities. So it's nice that they're covering that for us this year, and it makes it a whole lot easier.
Yeah, it's got to take a lot of stress off you, and you can just play ball. Where like you hear the stories of minor leagues in the past, where they playing for peanuts and traveling on these buses that are old and breaking down and staying in shitty hotels.
I think in 2019 it was me, Curtis Terry, and Grant Anderson, and I got there a little late, so I was staying in the living room. So I just bought a bed, went to the living room, chipped in on rent, and then Matt Watley, Ryan Anderson, Franier Chavez, and Jonathan Ornelas and Cole Enright all moved in. The last month of the season, their lease was up, so they all moved in with us. In a 2-bedroom apartment, we had like 8 guys in there. But it does sound tough, and the bathroom situation can be kind of weird.
Yeah.
But it was a good. We did it for a month, and it was fun.
Yeah.
You look back on it, and it was really fun. Maybe during like the exact moment, you're like, dang, this is kind of like I'm sleeping, 5 feet from 2 other dudes who I'm gonna see all day tomorrow. But when you look back on it, it was a lot of fun memories. And it was good people, so it helped out.
Yeah. Last question I'll ask before we go. So someone like Jack Leiter, right? Big time,
right?
Big hype. Dad, MLB player, great player. Came in, drafted high. This year he played with you. Not such a good year, right? Over 5 ERA. What can you tell us about him as a person? Like, did he act as if he was, that guy, the dude?
He's the best because he is that guy. He is that dude. But if you saw him on the street or saw him in the locker room, you would never know by the way he acts that
Mm-hmm.
he is what he is. So he handles it well. I'm sure he had a great growing up with his parents, and they did a good job with him, of course. But yeah, he doesn't act like he's, he doesn't act like how a lot of guys could act in his spot. And it was his first full season. I think it's the first time he threw. I think he only threw 1 year in college, right?
Yeah.
Because of the COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes from college to AA. It's a pretty big jump.
Yeah.
And it wasn't his best year, obviously. He knows that, but I know he has high expectations for himself. I know he works hard. So nobody's doubting that he can't be what everybody thinks he can be. I'm excited for him. He's a guy I root for as well, just because he's a great person. And I think he's going to be – I think he'll do a complete 180 for what he did last year.
Yeah. It'll be exciting.
And even last year, he had a lot of good starts. He just sometimes the wheels fell off towards the end a little bit. But his numbers don't show how good he actually was.
Yeah. Well, I wish him the best. I wish the Rangers the best, except for when they play the White Sox, and then I hope they lose. I wish you the best tomorrow and in the future, and wherever you go, I'll find a way to. If you kind of hope that you either go to the Rangers or Frisco, so I can go to more games.
But if you right around the corner from you.
Yeah, but if you do go down the Round Rock, I'll be down there to watch a couple games too. So number 9 in your Roughriders program this year in spring training, number 80. They kind of did them wrong.
17.
Oh, 17?
Yeah,
I thought I saw you wearing 80.
80. I think I was 80 today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the numbers always get changed up, but
17.
For the most part, 17 for spring training.
Okay, but number 1 in your heart.
Number 1 in the heart.
Yeah. Thanks for doing this with us, Jax Biggers, everybody. Oh, and do you golf at all? Are you bad? You're a bad golfer.
I can golf.
Yeah.
I don't claim to golf because I am pretty bad. So
yeah.
I can golf. I don't golf.
Yeah. I'm a bad golfer too. And recently, we just got a new sponsor that kind of makes golf fun. It is Shank It Golf. My hat that I'm wearing right now says Legalize Mulligans, which that needs to be a thing. We call them breakfast balls off the first tee. But they have a bunch of cool hats, a bunch of cool polos, a bunch of good golf stuff. You should go to their website, and if you use the promo Stars Volta, you'll get 15% off. I'll be wearing their hats and polos in golf courses to make me look better than my game. But go check them out if you want some cool swag, and we'll put some links everywhere for you guys. But that's it. Thanks everybody for listening. Thanks for everybody who was watching. Go Rangers, and we'll talk to you guys later. Goodbye.